Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday morning gathering brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. Point 32 Health is our parent company. I am delighted to be here with all of you this Thursday morning, this rainy Thursday morning. I hope it is raining where you are. That's not normally something we would necessarily wish for, but it is really welcome in the conditions that have been in our drought and fires, and so I welcome this weather. Um, so for anybody that this is your first time joining, just a warm welcome to you. These practices are fully guided. They're about 12 minutes in length. We take time at the end for Q&A, sharing resources. So, a book or an app or a podcast, something that you've come across that you want to share, please do that. And if you haven't opened up the chat yet, go ahead and do that. So open up the chat, go to the drop-down menu and just make sure you select everyone. And so I'm going to just get right into practice. Sometimes, again, for anybody that's new, we start with a question or a poem. That is typically how we start. But I'm thinking that I would really love to just have us get right into practice. And then at the end, as a way to close, I'm going to read a poem. And so we'll shift our anchor, the focus of our attention from whatever we're using, whether it's body sensation or sound, to the words as a way to close. And then we'll open it up. So anybody that needs to hop off at that time, of course, feel free to do that. But let's go ahead and begin. So you can select a posture that feels like it's going to be best for you this morning. So that could be standing. If you're sleepy, standing is a really great practice. And by the way, one is not better than the other. It's really what feels like it's going to be most supportive to you. So you could stand, you could stay seated, and you can also lie down. But if you're tired, I would just caution lying down because it's really easy to fall asleep. And even seated, it can be easy to fall asleep in practice, which is fine as long as you wake up and just resume. So always, be easy with yourself in practice. The mind is busy, and I think with all that's happening globally, it would not be uncommon to have things even feel more amped up within you, your nervous system, and emotionally and physically. So with that, go ahead and assume a posture that you feel is going to be a good one for you today, that feels supportive, yet brings some ease. And as always, your eyes can be open or closed. So if you decide to keep the eyes open, I generally say, gaze down a little bit just to help remove peripheral distraction. So settle in and on your own, take 2 deep breaths. Do a deep inhalation through the nose and then make your exhalation a little bit longer. So let's all go ahead and do that at our own pace. And on those exhalations, you can really surrender your weight into the support of the ground below. Feel the support of the earth beneath you. And knowing that you can surrender your weight into that support, that you are being held by the ground, by the earth, yet maintain a posture that's upright and engaged, not too tight and not too loose. And we'll begin by letting go of all that has happened so far this morning and releasing anticipation of what's next, allowing yourself to fully arrive here in this moment. And knowing that you've chosen to be here and there's nothing else to do and nowhere else to be, but to practice being present, to practice learning about the nature of your mind, and really that extends learning about the nature of the mind, of everyone's mind. Our stories and narratives are, of course, different, but we're seeing that thoughts arise, do their thing, move on. Body sensations, whether it's painful or not, arise, do their thing, and move on. So we're also learning as we practice about the nature of impermanence and nature of change. We're learning what we lean into, what we resist, and to remember that in practice, it's actually all allowed. So because it has shown up, it's all allowed. So dropping the resistance, especially to things that are unpleasant. Um, and the only thing I would add around that is thought loops. And when we can get caught in the same thought that keeps looping over and over again, is to just label it. And sometimes it's just in general in practice, labeling is really helpful, because in a way it helps you, it's like the culprit has been seen, so it weakens a little bit. The opposite is when we're just lost in thought and we're not seeing it clearly. So all of that said, just bring awareness to your whole body. So notice perhaps the points of contact with the back of the body and the surface. So whether that's the soles of the feet or along the back of the body, just aware of the touch points and what that feels like, the physical sensation of the points of contact. Also noticing other physical sensations in your body. So that could be pulsing or vibration, could be temperature, could be tingling, tightness, looseness. So taking a moment to receive whatever the body is offering, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, maybe neither of those. Beginning practice with a receptive, curious, open kind of awareness, knowing what is happening. And throughout the practice today, it will be very natural to get lost in thought because thoughts slip in unnoticed. And then we chomp away on them until all of a sudden we recognize that we have been engaging with a memory or regret or planning or excitement. And then we just gently release it and let the breath call you back. So first I want to just start with an overall body scan, taking us through different regions of the body. So let's start at the very top of the head, and we're going to kind of do this in a sweeping way. So as we move through, just notice sensation or lack of sensation. Starting at the top of the head, sides and back of the head, including the ears, coming around to the face, softening and bringing some ease to the muscles of the face, just to the degree that you can. So softening the area around the eyes and the mouth and jaw, rest the tongue. And coming down over the neck and shoulders, upper arms, forearms, and hands. And just receiving, seeing what's there, noticing sensation. Coming down now over the torso, feeling from the inside out. And down over the hips and thighs. And the knees, the lower legs. And finally the feet. And releasing, coming back to the whole body. See if there are any areas that are looking for your attention. And go ahead and isolate that particular area. Otherwise, keep full body awareness. And the attitude in the mind is receptive, open, curious, aware of liking and disliking, of pleasant or unpleasant. It's all invited. And just for a moment, let's expand awareness to include sound. So, sound in the room that you're in, or perhaps outside of the room. Just making a soft mental note, hearing. Being aware of any stories that tag on to hearing. And just simply see if you can come back to just that kind of bare attention without adding on anything to it, just hearing, engaging with the sense experience. And allowing sound to remain as it will in your background, coming and going, or perhaps consistent. And let's see if we can find something to anchor the wandering mind. So the mind will move into thought, that's natural. But essentially, we're just simply saying, not now. So we're training the mind in some steadiness. Mindfulness, this capacity to be awake and aware and know it, just does its job better on a steady platform. So meditation helps to kind of calibrate or steady the mind so that mindfulness can work most effectively. So we're deciding not to let the mind continue to wander, but it's not a problem that a thought slips in. We're just going to release it, make a soft mental note thinking, and return to your anchor, whatever is helping you steady. So that you have a lot of options. It really doesn't matter what you choose to bring attention back to. What matters is the quality of awareness you can bring. So as you breathe, as the body breathes naturally, tracking the rhythm of the in-breath and the out-breath, feeling into the sensations of that could be an anchor. Anywhere in the body it's most noticeable and easiest for you. So breath is not always easy for everybody. So you could take the palms of your hands and rest them together. And the feeling of that point of contact could be what you return to. You could rest your palms on your thighs, and the point of contact feeling could be what you use. You could also use sound, just open awareness, open up into receiving sound. So go ahead and take a minute to see what will you return to each time the mind wanders. And see if you can bring a sense of ease to the practice. Each time thoughts slip in, there's almost always a subtle bodily contraction. So a thought will slip in. Without you knowing it, you'll be kind of working with that thought, and the body subtly contracts almost always. So when you see that, thinking, that's it. Bring attention to your body, soften, and return. And we just do that over and over again. So I'm going to be silent for the next few minutes. And noticing where your mind is in this moment, gently releasing the narrative, softening your body and returning. And as we end this meditation, I'm going to read a poem by John O'Donohue. And so what I would ask is just to simply let go of whatever anchor you were just using and see if you can track the words. So just um, flexibility of attention, moving from your anchor to the words. And this poem is called For the Senses. May the touch of your skin register the beauty of the otherness that surrounds you. May your listening be attuned to the deeper silence where sound is honed to bring distance home. May the fragrance of a breathing meadow refresh your heart and remind you you are a child of the earth. And when you partake of food and drink, may your taste quicken to the gift and sweetness that flows from the earth. May your inner eyes see through the surfaces and glean the real presence of everything that meets you. May your soul beautify the desire of your eyes that you might glimpse the infinity that hides in the simple sights that seem worn to your usual eyes. So, taking a moment, if your eyes were closed, to open the eyes and just look around the room, reorient yourself to the space that you're in. And of course, if anybody needs to hop off, but we've got a few minutes. I really love that poem because so much of the practice that we do is coming into contact with the sense experience. So, what we can see and hear and taste and touch and feel. And so I love that. I love John O'Donohue. I think he's really great. But I that poem especially is dog-eared and has been read several times. Um, so I just want to open it up for anybody to share anything, questions, podcast, books. Um, I just read a book by Susan Bauer Wu, and Susan was head of Mind and Life Institute. Um, and they're the organization that does a lot of research on meditation and the impact of mindfulness and meditation on the body and the mind. And it's a great, if you don't know about Mind and Life Institute, just go ahead and Google it. It's really good. But her book is called An Earth We Can Love. I'll actually put it in the chat. um, It's a good one. And she also gives in that book, she gives other recommendations on books that she's read that she thinks are really good. So I've been also looking at some of those, but she's become a real climate activist, and I found this book just especially good and helpful. So how about anybody else? Thoughts, questions? Even just how you're feeling today, feeling good. Oh, for snow, right. I have been watching, yeah, I've been really watching the weather. I'm seeing that, yeah, there's some snow in northwestern Massachusetts, Vermont. Um, yeah, Susan, so true. It's grounding for sure. And I feel like one of the things Susan also mentions, I think this was in her book, was just really feeling the pull of gravity to help us to feel more grounded, feeling kind of the heaviness of the whole body, being supported by gravity and the earth below. It's really helpful. Yeah, it's cold out there in the northern Midwest for sure. Oh, good, Grace. I'm glad. Yeah. And I think it's especially in this time of such global unrest, um, it just feels good to be together. It just feels good to be in community. It feels good to practice. Um, we're all doing the same thing, which is it's in many ways, this is it's a deep practice of self-understanding, of seeing what our own individual habit patterns of mind are. It's a way of giving ourselves grace of uh, just seeing the whole kind of, as John Kabat-Zinn calls it, the full catastrophe. Um, and again, we have more in common than not. Um, and it is hard to have yes, it's a good challenge to have an open heart. It is a good challenge to have an open heart. And I don't know how many of you attended the kind of, we did a pre-election series and a post-election, not a series, but a session. Um, and, one of the things that has always, my teachers have always talked about over the years is, especially with those that we might feel very different from, is to see that, and again, I love this is a good challenge, see the similarities. So, right, just by virtue of being human beings on this planet, we all want to be safe. We all want to have good health. We want to feel good in our bodies. Um, we want to feel loved and be able to love. So there's if we think about it from that lens, clearly different ways of going about meeting those things, but those are similarities. Book friends with Sarah, book friends with your mind. Linda Somatic Mindfulness and has a website in daily 8 a.m. Wonderful, great. Um, next week I will share another book because I've been doing a lot around somatic mindfulness. So I'm happy, Sarah, to see this. I don't know Lynn, but I'm going to look her up. The name does sound vaguely familiar. And Colleen, yes, snow. I mean, yeah, beautiful snow. We need the moisture. And Yeah, may it be so. Anything else that anybody wants to offer? Um, where do snow people keep their money? I don't know. Snow bank. Thank you, Sandy. That is really great. Well, we're at 8:58. I am really happy that everybody joined this morning. We've got a really nice group. Um, so just wishing well in your day as you move through the day. May you take whatever kind of nurturance and support that you've received here this morning into every interaction. Um, so we can call it here. Thanks, everybody.